Everyone, welcome. I'm Miss Alcala, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our beginning concert. So far, it's been a lovely night of just amazing music and just seeing so much growth in these kids. I'm so proud of them. So this is our beginning orchestra under the direction of Mr. Hansen, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our ASB, so enjoy.
Good evening and welcome to Benton's Beginning Spring Concert. This evening will be filled with amazing music performed by Benton's emerging ensembles. Before we begin, a few reminders regarding audience etiquette.
First, please take the time to silence your cell phones. As a courtesy to the musicians on stage, please refrain from using your cell phone during performances.
Second, if you need to step out of the auditorium, please only do so during transitions between ensembles. Please do not exit or enter the auditorium in the middle of pieces or an ensemble set, as this can distract the performers on stage.
Please welcome to the stage Beginning Orchestra.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to perform a number of pieces for you this evening. A little bit later. We're going to start with one of the most important skills that you learn when you learn to play a violin or a cello or a viola, and that's how to tune it. And so, since we last met, our group has gotten really good at tuning their own instruments, which normally takes a long time to really learn how to do. And so we thought we'd show off a little bit. And the way we're going to show off is I played a little dirty trick on them. On the way in, I detuned at least one of their strings. They were in tune before we came in. Now they're not. So we're going to see how fast they can tune their instruments. That's our first song. Okay, so we'll start. Are you ready? Yours is still good. Okay. Oh, okay. That is what I wanted. Very good. So that's a sign of a maturing musician. Somebody who really cares deeply about their pitch. How exact is the highness and the lowness of their notes? That's what pitch is. easy task. I played a couple dirty tricks on some of them too, so very nice to know you guys all around each other. So that's one thing that we've been working on. We'll start with a couple things that we've demonstrated before, just to get warmed up, if you don't mind. So we'll start with just a D major scale, after all that nerve-wracking experience of tuning. So we'll play just a D major scale to get warmed up. These are some of the notes that we learned how to play a little earlier in the year. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. So not only do we have those 8 different notes that we've been working on this year, but we've learned all the little half-step notes that fit in between some of those notes. And so we're going to show you all of the notes of the D scale. It's called a chromatic scale. So here we have all those little things. And so also we've been developing our reading skills a lot. Reading notes is pretty hard at first. You have 5 lines, we call it the staff lines, and you can either put a note head on a line or in a space. And so we have 3 different clefs that we have to learn how to read too. We got the normal G clef that the violins learn how to read. Then we have this really funny looking C clef called the alto clef that the violas have to learn how to read. And then we got the bass clef over here that the cellos have to read. And so if the violin were to look at a note on one of these 5 staff lines and try to play it, but it's the wrong clef, they're reading the bass clef, it would come out all sorts of wrong. And so we have these kind of different systems of reading notation. It can be pretty confusing. Long story short, the kids are doing a great job of mastering. And so we're going to start reading some notes for you. We're going to start with one that's pretty easy. We learned it a little bit earlier in the year. We learned how to pitch it first. So we're going to do a pitch, and then we're going to do an arco. Pitch is short for pizzicato. That's when you pluck the string. And arco, if you're a Spanish speaker, it sounds like the word for bow. And that's literally what it means. So arco is just using the bow. All right. Okay, so not too exciting yet, but it's going to get a lot more exciting, I promise. So one of the other things that we've been learning how to do is play in harmony. And harmony, of course, means that we're not all playing the same note at the same time. One of the ways that we learn how to play in harmony is called a round. And now a round, it's kind of like if you picture a race, like let's just say a horse race. Only one of the horses goes, and then the rest of the horses stay behind. When that first horse gets to exactly, let's say 4.75 seconds into the race, Another horse is let loose and starts running the race. And then when that second horse gets to 4.75 seconds, a third horse is let loose in the race. Only the objective isn't for the third horse to surpass or overtake the second or the first horse. The objective is to be exactly 4.75 seconds behind the first race horse and exactly 4.75 seconds behind the second horse. So not an easy feat. We have a piece here that you're going to recognize. This is how we're going to demonstrate around. And you'll hear the various horses take off, starting with the cellos. Ready? One more thing, this could go dreadfully wrong because like I said, it's like exactly, you got to be exactly this far behind it. So wish us luck if you do this.
That was awesome.
All right, so there's a little bit of harmony we've been working on. And another thing, when you're going along and you're reading notes, it can be really hard because we divide up the notes in these little brackets that we call measures or bars, depending on where you're from. In Britain, they use the word bar a lot more. Over here, we like to call them measures. I like measure because it makes me think of measurements, like on a measuring tape if you're into carpentry or anything where you have to measure it out. Music's the same way. We write a few notes here, and then we bracket it. Like there's 1 inch of notes, and there's the 2nd inch of notes, 3rd inch, 4th measure, 5th measure, and so on. When we read, we start out with having 4 beats go into each measurement. So like 4 beat notes, or 8/8 notes, or any combination of notes that fits into 4 beats of sound, 4 pulses. A little bit later, it's a little bit harder if we squeeze 3 beats into each measurement. So we're going to play a couple of songs that have 3 beats per measurement of notes. A little bit trickier for our players. Okay, so now, remember that scale where we played a whole ton of notes that sounded really close together, called the chromatic scale, which is really hard for a first-year player. They've done an amazing job. You gotta move your fingers just a little, not even a half of a fraction of an inch, and the pitch changes dramatically on these darn things. They're very hard instruments to control. So they're all doing a wonderful job of this instrument. Thank you for continuing to encourage them, by the way. So we started using a few of these chromatic notes. It's not too long ago, and so we're going to play a piece that uses some of those notes that are a little less familiar, and we're going to perform a little nifty trick at the very end of this piece called a slur. And a slur is where you play one note and keep the bow moving, and then take your finger off to play a different note while the bow keeps moving in one direction. It takes a lot of fine motor control. It's really, really beneficial for young minds to do something like slurring the bow. One arm is doing one thing, one hand is doing one thing, the other hand is doing something completely different. So, very tall order. They're doing a great job. Okay, one of the last things that we've been working on reading is we're in 2/4 time signature. That means that there are 2 pulses or beats that fit into every one of those measurements that we were talking about earlier. And that's not the hard part. The hard part is some of these new notes, and we have slurs going on here. We've got the works that we've been working on. Some new notes, slurs. We've got a pickup note. Okay, so we got a lone solitary note at the beginning of the piece that doesn't seem to fit in any of the rest of the measures. It's pretty tough, but we're going to rise to the occasion. Okay, thank you. We have one more piece to demonstrate our skills. We're going to go back to a piece that has some harmony in it. So we're not all just playing the same notes. We have different folks that are playing different notes at different times, which is really what we enjoy most, I think, in music. Hearing the different jobs and different roles that different instruments get to play to, evoke feeling. So this piece is called the Can-Can. And if you, listen to a little bit of classical music, you definitely heard this melody. So the last piece of Can-Can. Yes, we can. our fun concert. We keep showing off some of the stuff we've been working on. We are working on some more grandiose pieces for our final concert of the year on May 20th. That's the big one. That's the important one. So I really hope you guys all show up on May 20th, and we'll play a few more heavier hitting pieces for you guys at that point. Thank you again. Thanks again for encouraging your kids to play something really hard. The violin's a hard instrument, so thank you for sticking with it.